Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible journey a simple product takes before it ends up with you? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden world of materials management. We're going to see exactly how companies master the flow of, well, everything, from the tiniest bits of raw material to the finished goods in your hands. So let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what it really costs to make something? I mean, it's so much more than just the price of the parts. The real and often invisible cost is all wrapped up in the journey those parts take, from a supplier to a factory, and finally all the way to your door. So, here's our game plan. We're going to follow that whole journey. We'll kick things off with the hidden cost challenge, then look at how companies get a handle on their physical materials. After that, we'll dive into the art of smart inventory, see how it's all integrated into one giant system, and then we'll take a peek into the future of all this. Sound good? Let's jump in. For any company that makes, well, pretty much anything, the biggest challenge is managing that constant, relentless flow of parts and materials. If you mess it up, your costs can just explode. But if you get it right, that's where you create real value. And the number one enemy? Just sheer mind-boggling complexity. So how in the world do you tame that complexity? Well, it all starts with this idea called materials management. You can think of it as the master strategy for everything: planning, buying, moving, and storing all the stuff a company needs in the smartest way possible. The goal is super simple: keep costs way down and add as much value as you can to that final product. This right here is the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. All right, let's start at the ground level. Before you can have some big, fancy, overarching strategy, you gotta master the basics. And this first layer is all about one thing: creating order from the absolute chaos of thousands of individual parts, boxes, and components. And that order, it begins with the seemingly humble but absolutely critical role of storekeeping. I mean, this is everything from the moment materials arrive at the door, to storing them correctly so they don't get ruined, to getting them to the right departments, keeping perfect records, and yeah, making sure nothing walks out the back door. This is ground zero for control. Now, here's what's really interesting. A decision as simple as where you put your stuff can have a massive ripple effect. Do you go with one huge centralized warehouse? Sure, you get way better control and it's cheaper to run, but you risk frustrating delays getting parts out to different teams. Or do you set up smaller, separate stores for each department? They get their materials way faster, but now your costs might creep up and things can get inconsistent. It's that classic business trade-off: control versus speed. Of course, before you can store anything, you gotta buy it first. And in the business world, that's not just a quick click on a website. No, it's a very structured six-step dance. It starts when someone recognizes a need. Then you find the right supplier, place a formal order, you follow up to make sure it's actually coming, you receive and inspect the goods to make sure they're what you paid for, and finally, you pay the bill and log it all. This whole process is a company's armor against getting the wrong stuff at the wrong price at the wrong time. Okay, so we've got our physical stuff under control. Now we get to level up. This is where it gets really strategic. How do we make smarter, more cost-effective decisions about all that inventory we're sitting on? And this brings us right to the heart of the matter: the inventory dilemma. It's a classic catch-22. If you order too much, you're just burning cash on storage and tying up capital. But if you order too little, you risk shutting down your entire production line and losing sales. Either way you slice it, a mistake here is expensive. So, how do you find that perfect Goldilocks zone? Well, one of the most powerful tools for this is the economic order quantity, or EOQ. It's this really clever formula that crunches the numbers to find the absolute ideal amount to order. It perfectly balances the cost of placing an order against the cost of holding the inventory. It's basically using math to solve a massive real-world headache, and it can save a company a fortune. And this is the perfect way to visualize how EOQ works. See, if you place a ton of little orders, your ordering costs go through the roof, but you're not holding much stuff. On the flip side, if you place a few giant orders, your holding costs shoot up. The EOQ is that magic sweet spot right in the middle, where your total costs are as low as they can possibly be. It's a beautiful balancing act. But here's the thing: not all inventory is created equal. And that's where something called ABC analysis comes in. It's straight out of the 80-20 rule. Your A items? That's the small group, maybe 20% of your items, that represent a massive 80% of your inventory's value. You watch these like a hawk. Then you have your C items. This is the bulk of your stuff, maybe half your items, but they're only worth 5 or 10% of the total value. You can manage these with much simpler, looser controls. It's all about focusing your time and energy where it has the biggest impact. All right, so we've organized our physical parts, and we've built a smart inventory strategy. Now it's time to zoom all the way out, because modern companies take all these individual pieces and integrate them into one single, massive, cohesive system that can stretch across the entire planet. A core philosophy here is something you've probably heard of, just-in-time or JIT. It was famously pioneered by Toyota, and the idea is both radical and brilliantly simple. You don't make or order a single thing until a customer has actually paid for it. This is the ultimate weapon against waste, because the goal is to drive inventory down to almost zero. Now, JIT is just one part of a much bigger picture we call supply chain management, or SCM. This isn't just about what your company is doing. This is about managing the entire network of organizations, from the farm that grows the cotton to the shipping company that delivers the t-shirt, all of them working in perfect sync to create the best possible value for the customer. And what's the digital glue that holds all of this together? It's software called Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP. This is the heavy-duty tech that connects every single important part of a business: finance, manufacturing, HR, the supply chain, all of it into one single integrated system that shares the same data. It's truly the central nervous system of a modern corporation. And when you plug in a system like that, the benefits are just massive. You get total integration across the whole company. You can see what's happening in real time, and maybe most importantly, everyone is working from the same playbook, a single source of truth. Decision-making gets faster, collaboration gets easier. It just breaks down all those old walls between departments and lets the whole organization hum. So, wow, we've gone from a single screw sitting on a shelf in a storeroom all the way to a fully integrated global digital network. Let's wrap this up and look at the big picture takeaway from all of this. At the end of the day, the crucial point is this: creating value today isn't just about making a cool product, it's about mastering the flow of things. And just as important, it's about mastering the flow of information. When you have timely, accurate information, you can make and ship only what people are actually buying. That eliminates waste and delivers exactly what customers want, right when they want it. And that brings us to one last really cool thought to leave you with. As new technologies like AI and the Internet of Things make our supply chains even smarter and more predictive, how is that going to change what just-in-time even means? What happens when we can predict delivery not just in a matter of days or hours, but down to the minute? The future of efficient flow is getting faster and smarter than we can even imagine.